name is Mariusz Babula, and I am CEO and shareholder of Zortrax, Polish 3D printers manufacturer. Today I have a great pleasure to present our story. I will start with a short historical background. Next I will say about our way from local startup to globally recognized 3D printer manufacturer. And at the end I will tell about the factors that brought us to the place where we are here, where we are right now. And maybe that will be some kind of lesson for us for 3Cs initiative. Last century was particularly difficult for our region. World wars, especially World War II, where, for example, Poland lost 1/5 of its population. Many cities were destroyed. Warsaw, where we are today, was completely destroyed. Next, there were times of communist regime, which divided Europe into two completely different worlds. And after that, we have a very turbulent transformation from a socialist system to a capitalist system. Lack of even basic products, problems with hyperinflations weren't a good environment for entrepreneurs. We had many problems with civil rights and hostility of government towards entrepreneurs. But yet we managed to transform into capitalist economic. We've introduced some free market mechanism. Inflation has still slowed down, and Polish companies are doing quite well on the global market right now. We are still working on decrease of the technological gap between Poland and Western economies. In 2016, we've spent some 0.97% of Polish GDP on research and development. Just 3 years later, we were spending 1.32% of Polish GDP, even though the GDP in Poland have risen itself. We still have much to do because EU average is on the level of 2.2% of GDP. However, this growth that we have is very promising, and those are maybe not the perfect condition for technological companies, but it's a good start. Our history starts in 2011, but the story of 3D printing technology is much longer. First 3D printer was created in 80s, in last century, but even in the beginning of 21st century, it was still quite a novelty, especially in Europe. Market was divided into two segments. First segment with enormous, extremely expensive industrial 3D printers, and the segment of small desktop 3D printers, do-it-yourself constructions called RepRaps, built by hobbyists for hobbyists. The first one, those industrial 3D printers were way too expensive for small and medium businesses, and those small RepRap constructions weren't good enough for such professional applications. And that was the void that we wanted to fill. And after 2 years of hard work, we've created our first 3D printer, M200. Being a hardware manufacturing company is quite difficult because R&D expenses are only a start. You have to have a lot of money to start manufacturing on full scale. We choose quite unusual way in that time because we choose Kickstarter. Kickstarter was very popular back then in United States, quite popular in Western Europe, but almost completely unknown in Poland. Zortrax was a first Polish company to start Kickstarter campaign. We've managed to raise $180,000 during this campaign, and this was money just enough for only 2 months of operations. So we had to raise more capital, and in 2013, Zortrax becomes private limited company. We've issued corporate bonds and issued shares, and thanks to private investors who bought those bonds and shares, we were able to start full-scale manufacturing of our 3D printers. Our 3D printer was awarded many times because of easiness of use, reliability, and being affordable 3D printer. It was one of the first in the world 3D printers that was available for larger community. We still have the same view on our products. However, our offer consists of many more printers. We do not only have 3D printers that are capable of printing with thermoplastics, so-called FDM 3D printers, but also resin 3D printers that are able to print with liquid resins. We also have many external devices in our offer used in post-processing of 3D prints. Our devices are used by very well-known players in the global market. I'm especially proud of our cooperation with NASA. Our 3D printers work in NASA Johnson Space Center, where are used to prototype parts of lunar landers, parts of space station. We also cooperate with universities, especially medical universities. Our printers are used during education of new medics, but also during preparation for surgeries, like heart surgery, for example. You can print model of a heart and prepare to the heart surgery. Last year, we released our first industrial 3D printer, which is capable of printing with more sophisticated materials that can be used, for example, in aerospace industry. And last year, thanks to that 3D printer, we've conducted, in cooperation with European Space Agency, groundbreaking research. Our 3D printer was able to print with a special polymer which is capable of conducting electricity. Such 3D prints, what is more, such a material is also resistant to cosmic radiation, so it can be used in producing satellites, spacecrafts, and so on. We are not slowing down. This year we are going to release our first dental 3D printer, which is capable of printing tooth implants, orthodontical braces, surgical guides, and so on. We are now a public listed company. We are listed on New Connect, Polish stock exchange for technological companies, and we are not slowing down. What brought us here? Unfortunately, I think it's a mixture of bravery and luck. Luck because some of decisions that we've made would be not able to do right now. For example, issuance of bonds, corporate bonds, is practically impossible right now due to changes in legal system. Bravery because I think you have to be brave to start a company in one of the poorest region of Poland and dream about reaching the stars. And thanks to cooperation with NASA or ESA, we are literally reaching the stars right now. You have to care for your employees, because without those innovative minds, we wouldn't be in the place we are right now. And you have to constantly focus on innovations, because on such fast-growing market, without innovations, you will simply lose. What can we learn from our history? I'm not sure. I think that we need to create innovation-friendly environment, to have more technological company like ours. We have, we have a lot of innovative people. We have to support young people who are willing to change the world. We have to support out-of-the-box thinking, and by creating such environment, we can simply change the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.